The grand chamber of the Veltheron Empire fell silent as Emperor Zarthun's 7 eyes blazed with fury. His chitinous exoskeleton crackled with barely contained rage as he rose from his obsidian throne, towering 12 feet above the assembled delegates from across the galaxy. "You dare refuse our terms?" His voice boomed through the translators embedded in every wall. "The Veltheron Empire has conquered 473 star systems. We have reduced entire civilizations to cosmic dust, and you, representative of this insignificant species called humanity, have the audacity to reject our generous offer of subjugation?" Ambassador James Mitchell sat in his modest chair, looking almost comically small compared to the alien dignitaries surrounding him. He was a weathered man in his late 50s, with gray temples and tired eyes that had seen too much. While other delegates trembled in their seats, Mitchell simply reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a crumpled pack of cigarettes. "Do you mock us, human?" Zarthun's mandibles clicked together menacingly. Mitchell placed a cigarette between his lips and produced an old lighter. The small flame seemed absurd in the vastness of the chamber, yet every eye fixed upon it. He took a long drag, exhaled slowly, and finally looked up at the Emperor. "Not mocking," Mitchell said quietly. "Just thinking." The Veltheron Emperor's translator struggled with the casual tone. Around the chamber, delegates from the Zephyr Collective and the Crystalline Concordat exchanged nervous glances. They had all bent the knee to the Veltheron Empire. They had all seen what happened to those who refused. Thinking? Zarthun descended the steps of his throne, each footfall echoing like thunder. "Let me simplify your thoughts, Ambassador. You have 48 of your Earth hours to accept our terms. Surrender your military, your resources, your autonomy, or we will take them by force. The Veltheron Armada will reduce your Earth to rubble, and your species will be scattered as slaves across our empire." Mitchell took another drag from his cigarette. The silence stretched. Then, unexpectedly, he smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of a man remembering something dark, something the others in the room couldn't possibly understand. "You know what's funny?" Mitchell stood up, brushing ash from his sleeve. "We had a war once. Well, we've had a lot of wars. But there was this one big one. Second World War, we called it. Nasty business. Millions dead. Cities turned to ash. We even split the atom just to make sure we could kill each other more efficiently. Your primitive conflicts bore me," Zarthun hissed. "I'm getting to the point," Mitchell continued, walking slowly toward the center of the chamber. "See, after we were done killing each other, you know what we did? We looked up. We saw the stars. And we got curious. We sent probes, then people, then colonies. We spread out there slow and steady, and along the way we kept fighting. Mars Rebellion, Jupiter Station conflict, the Belt Wars. We're good at 2 things, Your Majesty: surviving and fighting." The Emperor's laugh was a harsh, scraping sound. "You fight among yourselves with primitive weapons. We have planet killers. We have antimatter warheads. We have—" "So do we," Mitchell interrupted, his voice suddenly cold as space itself. "And here's what you don't understand about humanity, what none of you understand." He gestured to the other delegates. "We've been waiting, preparing. Every human colony has shipyards hidden in asteroid fields. Every merchant vessel can convert to a warship in 6 hours. Every civilian past the age of 16 has mandatory military training." Mitchell took a final drag and crushed the cigarette under his heel. "We've watched you conquer the galaxy for the past 2 centuries. We've studied every battle, every tactic, every weakness. You want to know why we're not afraid? Because we've been at war with ourselves for 10,000 years and we're still here. Your empire is only 600 years old." "Lies," Zarthun roared. "You have 147 ships in your pathetic fleet." "Registered civilian vessels, yes," Mitchell nodded. "The actual fleet? That's classified. But I'll tell you this. We've got enough firepower hidden in the Oort cloud alone to glass every one of your core worlds simultaneously." The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted, translated conversations overlapping into cacophony. The Emperor's guards raised their plasma weapons, but Zarthun raised a claw to stop them. "You bluff," the Emperor said, but uncertainty crept into his voice. Mitchell pulled out a small data chip and placed it on the nearest console. "Here's a gift, Your Majesty. Coordinates and timestamps. Check your long-range sensors. You'll find debris fields where 3 of your scout fleets used to be. They got too close to our perimeter last month. We assumed they were a prelude to invasion, so we removed them. Quietly, efficiently. We were hoping you'd get the message. But apparently we need to be more direct. The Emperor's translator worked frantically as officers rushed to verify the data. Moments later, a Veltheron admiral approached the throne, mandibles clicking in agitation. The whispered conversation was brief, but the change in Zarthun's posture was unmistakable. "So here's our counteroffer," Mitchell said, his voice carrying clearly in the stunned silence. "The Veltheron Empire withdraws all claims on human space. You leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. Keep expanding in other directions if you want. But if one of your ships crosses into our territory, if one of your warriors threatens one of our colonies, we won't just fight back." He paused, lighting another cigarette. "We'll bring the war to your doorstep. And trust me, Your Majesty, you don't want to find out what happens when humanity stops pretending to be civilized." Mitchell turned and walked toward the exit, his footsteps the only sound in the vast chamber. At the doorway he paused and looked back. "You have 48 hours to withdraw your ultimatum. After that, we'll consider it an act of war. And unlike you, we don't make threats. We make promises." As the human ambassador disappeared through the doors, Emperor Zarthun stood motionless on his throne. Around him, the greatest military power in the known galaxy held its collective breath. For the first time in 600 years, the Veltheron Empire blinked first. 2 days later, the official withdrawal was announced. The other species of the galaxy watched in stunned silence as humanity, the youngest spacefaring civilization, faced down an empire and won without firing a single shot. And in a bar on Luna Station, Ambassador James Mitchell sat alone drinking whiskey and smoking another cigarette, hoping that he'd never have to back up the bluff he'd just made. But the galaxy didn't need to know that.